Thank you. Today, we celebrate Indigenous Day. My name is Callie, and I am a resilient mother of 5 Indigenous children, a survivor of domestic abuse, and an advocate also for domestic abuse. I am also a housing advocate for Rhode Islanders. Many individuals and families here in Rhode Island already struggled with housing insecurities. And with this pandemic, it has magnified these insecurities. Many survivors of domestic violence not only make sure housing is a priority, but a safe place to call home for our families. Funds taking away from this housing budget to build a statue is another arrow in our backs. And it's a sample of financial irresponsibility and another scar in history that we must not celebrate. Let's end this abuse of power. And now, I would like to introduce our tribal elder, Randy Noka.
Asko Ikwazani Tampawags. Hello, friends in my native tongue. My name is Randy Noka. Tribal name is Paponi Makwasham, Winter Wolf. I'm a tribal elder. I was a councilman for 20 years for the Narragansett Tribe, an ambassador for the tribe. I was an executive officer for the National Congress of American Indians, United South and Eastern Tribes Incorporated, and the Native American Fish and Wildlife Society. I'm a husband, a father, a grandfather, not a great-grandfather yet, but perhaps sometime down the road. But I'm proud and honored to be here today. I shared a little bit about myself, not to boast, but just the experiences that came with those titles, that involvement. 20 years of sitting as a representative for your tribe, your nation, your people, your forever. I'll forever carry that as a distinct pride, the blood in my veins. Narragansett, and on my mom's side, I'm Secant Wampanoag. And sometimes I fail to recognize that because I've always recognized myself as Narragansett, but I am both. And I want to honor both my parents. And before I get going, I'd like to do this, and I think it's important in our culture and in all cultures, I'm sure. A moment of silence for those that want to stand and join, that can stand. A moment of silence for those that couldn't make it, for those that are sick, not doing well, for those that are just on your heart or mind. So please join me. Thank you. Bella mentioned a couple things that, others that will present, they'll speak more on the statue perhaps, and our feelings on that, and however you may feel about it personally. We respect those and how you may feel about it. For those that see something in it, then more power to you. I think it just is a ugly piece of steel and should be taken down, and for different reasons. I mean, no disrespect to the artist, the town, and however they got to put that up, but again, others will speak more on that. I did want to speak a little bit about the history of the tribe, for those that don't know that much about it. Rhode Island, some insight into the historical relationship or lack of. This is, as Bella mentioned, Narragansett territory. All of Rhode Island, all of southern New England, different parts of it used to be Narragansett territory. It still is. Anywhere you step foot out here, maybe it's on concrete, asphalt, or grass, it's Narragansett territory. And it will forever be Narragansett territory. Pawtucket, that's a subsidiary tribe of the Narragansett back in the day. meanings of the words that the towns you live in, Woonsocket, Mesquamaket. These are Narragansett, Algonquin words, and many people don't realize that. Oh, you live in Mesquamaket. Oh, I live in Woonsocket. Or you're carrying on the Narragansett language when you say those things. And maybe you don't know what they mean, and that's okay. But know that that's part of our history being carried forward. Narragansett Bay, how they stole our name, in Narragansett Town, they stole our name, used our name. They took all our land, and then they, dignify it, I guess, to a certain point by calling it Narragansett Bay and Narragansett Town. But I'm proud to be a Narragansett, Seacock Wampanoag. Hopefully, whatever ethnicity and culture you have, you represent, you're proud of it. You should be. It doesn't mean you know that much about my heritage, my culture, our heritage and culture. And in Narragansett, if you could, those indigenous people, please raise your hand just to recognize yourself and be recognized. Thank you. No, I did one. I'm glad I remembered this. President Joe Biden, was it a couple days back or whatever, proclaimed this day to be Native Indigenous Peoples Day on the part of the United States of America. Not just Rhode Island, and what we have here, Indigenous Day Rhode Island, but a proclamation by the president calling this a whole lot different than what people have known it for 500 some years as Columbus Day. Now this isn't Columbus Day anymore. It never should have been. And no disrespect, and I mean no disrespect, or hopefully I don't insult anyone by what I share, but sometimes what I share may hurt the heart or may hurt the mind or whatever, but Columbus didn't set foot in this country. But regardless of where he stepped foot, and whoever's given recognition as being the discoverer of the United States, of what became the United States of America, this land was inhabited. The Aboriginal people were already here. My ancestors were already here in this area. It wasn't Rhode Island, from the get-go. It became that because of Roger Williams eventually. What was a small acreage in Providence became all of Rhode Island eventually. But it's Narragansett, it's Aboriginal territory, it's Turtle Island. And so it wasn't discovered by some guy that crossed the ocean and went the wrong way and ended up here down in the West Indies. It was already inhabited. And the histories and what this country teaches us, and still teaches, if I'm not mistaken, what the history books still teach, what the history teachers still teach. Columbus discovered America, and doctrine of discovery, and manifest destination. What gives any person, any ethnicity, any color of a person, the right to think that they're better than someone else? Absolutely not. Just because you cross the ocean doesn't mean you're better than what we already had here. My people are just as good and proud and can stand up to anyone. My people are still surviving today despite the efforts of genocide to get rid of us. We're still here. I'm standing here because I'm a Narragansett and I'm a Seacock Wampanoag. And ain't no one going to be able to take that from me. And it's not going to be taken from my grandkids. It's not going to be taken from any Narragansett still breathing today. And mark my word on that, please. I'm not saying there's a threat. I'm saying there's a promise. We are here. We're going to continue to be here. And hopefully our neighbors will understand that, appreciate that. Differences don't have to be bad. It's when you think you're better than. That's the difference that is bad. When you proclaim manifest destiny and doctrine of discovery. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but those that came over from foreign lands, the aliens that crossed the ocean, they proclaim themselves to be, hey, we own this land. We step foot here, we own it. And too bad for you people that lived here before. And by the way, Narragansett, go down into a little reservation, a couple acres big, and practice your culture. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. 1673, the Great Swamp Massacre, where they tried to kill the people that were in the winter encampment. There were elder men, women, and children. They tried to eradicate our people, my people. 1600s. 1880, state of Rhode Island tried to detribalize the Narragansett. You're no longer a people. Don't practice your culture because we won't allow you to do it. Don't speak your language because we won't allow you to do it. You're Rhode Islanders now. You're United States citizens now. You can't practice your culture. That's what we've overcome. I'm standing here as a living example that too bad you didn't succeed at what you tried to do and eradicate us. We're still here. We're still surviving. and we will continue to survive. I'm losing my voice already. But, and I did want to share some of the things, again, the doctrine of discovery and manifest destiny, what makes a people think they got a right to trample upon others. And in the history books, it calls us the savages. The brief paragraph that might be in the history books about the history of how this country was founded and what was done to the Aboriginal people. A paragraph, the savages. They killed our people, but, we took care of them. That's how it's portrayed. We're the savages. Now, who in their right mind, who wouldn't do something to protect their way of life if invaders were coming in from foreign lands? If Russia tried to invade the United States of America right now, would you not defend your way of life? Would you not defend who you are? Would you not defend your family? Of course you would. Well, that's what my people did. But we're portrayed to be savages. How is that? Ask yourself that. And by the way, again, I speak of the history books and all. It's 2021, and the history books are still teaching, in many ways, what I was taught back when I was in high school. It was a while back. You don't need to know when, but it was a while back. But that's what is still being taught as far as I know. Callie, is that being taught?
It is.
In the high school, still being taught? Yeah. And what's wrong with that? Thankfully, again, I made mention of it because President Biden, it's not just a gesture, it's a great step towards recognizing the injustice. Indigenous Peoples Day. That's a big step. Not Columbus Day anymore. This day, Indigenous Peoples Day, that's a big step on the part of the President of the United States, and any political person for that matter, because for their whole lives, they were taught there's something different. For their whole lives, they were taught that, again, the savages. Too bad they lost. Too bad they got shoved into a corner. Too bad for them. We're the right. We're the might. Manifest destiny. So, at some point, hopefully, history books will pick up on some of the things being done now. The statues down in the South, General Lee and all the Confederate people, and they're being taken down. Why? Because people know, or at least some, it's sad, but it's still a divide in this country. There's still an ugly civil divide in this country where people would still have their way. They'd still fly the Confederate flag. They would still have slaves, no doubt. They would still have that way of life if they could. Thankfully, some laws have made it illegal. But the mindset is still there. The insurrection of January 6th, the mindset is still there. People still hate. And it's such an ugly way of life. It's such an ugly disposition, a mental disposition. I hate you because you're different. I hate you because you're a different color. I hate you because you might be gay. I hate you because I hate you. It's ugly. Why do people have to be so ugly? Why do people have to hate? No one is better than me, and I'm not better than them. You're not better than me because you have a different skin tone or a different ethnicity. So you don't need to hate. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but you don't need to hate me because we're different. I don't need to hate you because you're different. The difference is something we should appreciate. Let me know a little bit more about you. Learn about me. Come to our August meeting called Powwow by many people. Come to see our culture alive. My grandkids over here, our culture is alive. The dance, the heartbeat, the drum. Our culture is alive. And it's meant to be shared, meant to be not necessarily taken in wholeheartedly. But yeah, this is beautiful. The colors, the pageantry of our powwow, and the colors, the regalias. It's a beautiful thing, and we want to share that. We're not looking to be bad neighbors in Rhode Island and the politicians, although we have every right to be. We're not looking to be bad neighbors. I hesitate to say this, we're looking to extend a hand, but we did that with Roger Williams, and then we got back a stump. We are still ready to extend a hand today because we know we have to live together in the same communities. We have to understand more about each other. We have to understand and appreciate the differences because that's what makes us human beings, the differences. If we were all alike and all dressed the same and everything, we worked at the same job and we drove the same cars, how boring would life be? But all it takes is a phone call. Randy, what are you doing? Or Jane, or John, or whoever, what are you doing? Hey, come to our powwow, come to your gathering. So I had so many things in mind, and I'm not wanting to talk forever, but there is something. How does country evolve? I want to take a step back. How does country evolve in what used to be all of Indian country, all of Turtle Island, Indian country, Navajo, Narragansett, Mashantucket, Pequot, Wampanoag, Apache, all those nations. Right now there's 580, I think, federally recognized tribes. There used to be tens of thousands of tribes in this country. I'm not lying when I say that. Tens of thousands of tribes. Hundreds of millions of native people, indigenous people. We have about 3 million now, I think. Narragansett total about 3,000. We used to be tens of thousands in numbers. And what happened to those people? They were killed. They were killed. They were murdered. They were tricked into blankets that were diseased. My people, they try to eradicate us totally. But again, I'll keep going back to that. But we're still here. Proudly, we're still here. And I take pride in looking out and seeing the faces, the differences in the faces, and whatever ethnicities you represent. And again, I hope you're proud of that ethnicity. But I'm proud to stand here before you today and maybe open your eyes a little bit. Maybe this is I don't want to sound ignorant with this, maybe it's the first time you heard someone from the Narragansett Tribe talk, and the others that will talk, not just the Narragansett, the other indigenous. Maybe it's the first time. But we're a welcoming people, and we will open our arms to the opportunity to learn more about us, because it's by learning about others we'll come an appreciation and understanding, and perhaps an awakening of a new way of getting along instead of not getting along, instead of ending up in court like the smoke shop raid, 18 years ago. You all remember the smoke shop raid? 51 state troopers stormed my reservation, arrested 7 of us, including my wife and myself, the chief of the tribe at the time, 3 councilmen, including myself, the medicine man for the tribe, tribal police officer. You all remember that? Yeah. Well, if you didn't, I understand maybe you weren't here then, but yes, 51 state troopers. They lined Route 2. All the cruisers said, oh, this don't look good, but stood our ground. Had no idea what was happening until that day, because Governor Kachuri at the time in the tribe, we hadn't been getting along. We had a disagreement over a casino. You probably heard about that too. But we opened a smoke shop, and we were selling tax-free cigarettes because we felt and we knew, and to this day I'm standing here saying we had a right to do so. The governor opposed it. Okay, we'll see you in court. He didn't wait for court. He sent the troopers down. And I can't help but feel that day they figured one of two things. Either the Indians, the Narragansett, they'll either get out of our way and we'll just come in and take what we're going to take, or they'll stand in our way and we'll try and thump a few of them. That's what I still believe to this day. Either get out of our way or we'll thump you out of our way. And they had some of the biggest troopers that they had on the force at that time. New England Patriots could use some of them guys. But that's the mindset of the people, or at least Kachuri at the time. He opposed our casino effort. He opposed our HUD housing, our low-income housing village. To this day, it's not completed. If you didn't know anything about our housing site, we have 12 units that were never lived in by our tribal elders. My mother-in-law was going to be one of the first residents there, but the state of Rhode Island and the town of Charlestown opposed us putting that land into trust. But it wasn't good enough just to oppose it. It was under town regulatory authority at the time. So you're not moving along with that project until we fight this out in court. And that was 1990. It's never been done. We've never had anyone live in it. It's dilapidated, run down. They have to be taken down houses. And you should if you had a chance to see them, you'd understand maybe better about what I'm sharing, about the disrespect, about what was been done to our people down through the years. They tried to wipe us out in the 1600s. They're using their laws to try and keep us down under the thumb in the 21st century and all. Now, it's a mindset. But with folks like yourselves, hey Anthony. Is Randy here, by the way? Oh, my son, my young son, when he shows up, it's his birthday today, so we're all going to sing happy birthday. What? I'm getting a signal from my wife, so. and she's the boss, so I guess it's close. But folks, if I shared anything today, I hope it's an opportunity to open eyes in a way that they weren't open before. The Narragansett, the Aboriginal people of this territory are still here. We're still thriving. Our culture is still thriving. We speak our language. We wear, well, not today, we wear our regalia. We look the part because we are the part. I said recently, I put a little quote in about myself, you know, people breathe air for life. My culture is my air. Our culture is our air. That's what we're all about. Differences don't have to be disrespected. Hopefully they're appreciated. And I'm glad I had this opportunity today. I hope what I said just wasn't a rambling monologue of nothing, but appreciate the fact that we're still here. We want to work with you. We will work with you, or at least we'll try to, but we'll be proud Narragansett forever, and no one's going to take that away from us. Thank you for being here today and for listening.